and get to the face. For the face, we can use this exactly same approach, I think, that we used for the torso. We're just gonna need to add the seams and project from views. There's a small, again, some uh, issue in the model that for some reason is not allowing me to select the edge around the top. Let's try to do the, yeah, remove duplicates didn't work. See what's there. It looks pretty fine. And yeah, I sometimes do notice Blender acting like that, but okay, this is just one more click. So this loop consists of two loops for some reason for Blender now. Let's mark the seam. Same on the bottom. This one looks fine, works fine. Vertical seams. Again, I'm selecting the very top edge, and then selecting the very bottom edge while holding Alt on my keyboard. And so I get a selection of all the edges in between. Looks like missed something here. That's because we have the hair bump there, so the Blender doesn't recognize it as a loop. Okay, let's just apply something to it so we can see it in the side view, and get to view project. Oh, okay. No, somewhere the seam is not, looks like it's not finished. Because when I press L on the face part of it, it is actually selecting even the other parts, even though if the seams are done well, it should not do like that. So we have a small mistake somewhere. Let's try and find it. This edge looks like it's okay. This one should be fine as well. Hmm. There it is. This side is getting selection on this side works fine, so the seams there are good. But here goes up. So I'm speeding up my process of searching for the source of that problem. It's usually hidden somewhere. Try different things and try to notice some abnormality in the geometry or the way it behaves, and then that can lead you to um, the source of the problem. So I've just selected that, and I want to just deselect the rest of it. And here I'm starting to notice this thin line of selection, and this is what happened. Uh, as you might remember, when I said when we extrude by these plane of symmetry, we need to delete the plane that is generated on the plane of symmetry, and this is what I forgot to do here, and I'm assuming that could have been a problem in your case as well. The way Blender treats geometry is actually very interesting. The situation like that would not be possible in any other 3D software. It would have been more obvious that there is some problem there in other programs. But that's basically just not to say that Blender is treating it bad. No, it actually has more capabilities in that case, but this is causing to some unexpected behavior sometimes. So now that we're getting rid of that, we select the faces and removing the faces, removing them. There are different ways you would need to delete faces, edges, or vertices when depending on what you want. But most of the time, for you, maybe just try it out, or see what works best. Now we have the good selection. The seam is works well, and pressing L leads to the results that we need. So now let's go and just project each side from each view, just the way we did with the torso. Once again, numpad buttons are very useful for navigating in the views. It looks like we have projected all of the sides. Let's average the sizes and pack the UVs so the algorithm just realigns them. So here we have this small like garbage result of a mm, projection. Let's turn on sync between UV and edit mode. And now that when we select something on the left side, we can see it is also selected on the right side, so we can see where it is. In that case, that is again some problem with extrusion. That surprisingly often happens to me in Blender. Well, let's remove this face because we don't need it. It should not be there. Yep, works fine. And as you can see, there are similar cases here, so let's do the same to them. So we don't have any unnecessary faces or edges, any kind of geometry that we don't need. Basically, I don't think it would be a problem if it's there, but just for the sake of having everything cleaned out. And that looks like that's it. And I don't think I see any other bugs in the UV. Now let's unhide the rest of the geometry. We do still have the eyes and brows left, but we'll take care of that a little bit later. Let's select all the UVs on the left side. Let's do that, yes. And average the sizes and pack the UV so we can see how things are. And to make sure that everything works well, we need an image, a test image to project on that. So let's make a new one, a UV grid. Let's name it something and create one. Yeah, now you see that grid there on the left side. It's not on the right side because it's just not showing the texture. So let's jump to the default view, and here we can see it. So I'm going to collapse the timeline and create another view, which I'm going to switch to UV edit mode or UV editor. Basically recreate the UV workspace. Yep, and let's turn on this sync of selection again between UV and the 3D view, so we can tell which side is right, which. Here I'm select, as you can see, I've selected the face there, and here is the face on the UV layout. I think it's usually a very good practice to pack the UVs so there it's easier to navigate, to see where things are. Like right now, I have the face geometries all over that area. So let's take it out and basically pack them in a way that is easier to understand what is what. Because basically there are two ways of drawing and a texture. You could draw it on that image, or you could draw it right on the geometry. Um, Most of the time, you would combine two techniques. Um, of course, lately it's becoming more and more easy to draw on the geometry, directly on the geometry, but the classic approach would still require drawing in a 2D editor and then checking up in 3D. That's why aligning the UVs is a good idea.